rushing the passer really, really well, even though we lost Darius Phylon, which really fucking sucks. We've got Max Crosby, who's our real diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? but he's going to stop Joe Burrow. They're all going to rush Joe Burrow.
Welcome to the Jungle, Bengals fans. I'm Kyle Phelps, and I am so ready for the Bengals to participate in playoff football again, baby. It's been 6 years since the last time that we got to see the Bengals in the postseason, and 31 years since some of y'all got to see the Bengals win a playoff game. I say some of y'all because I wasn't even born yet. I've never texted any of my friends about a Bengals playoff victory in my life before, because texting wasn't even invented the last time the Bengals won a playoff game. Also, once again, I wasn't born yet. But anyway, before we get into all that, I'd just like to ask that you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. It really helps my channel out. It helps you to be the first to know when we put out these Bengals preview videos with our awesome team of correspondents, hoping for 3 more this year. Also, recaps after each Bengals game, NFL coverage on Tuesdays. It used to be power rankings, but now that there's a lot less teams participating, I gotta figure out something else. And Battle of Ohio podcast clips on the off days. So, you want another anecdote for how long it's been since the Bengals last won a playoff game? Well, how about this? It came against the Houston Oilers. Yeah, there might be some of you watching who weren't even alive when the Oilers moved to Tennessee to become the Titans. That's how long it's been. The very next game after that victory, it's when the Bengals injured Bo Jackson and ended his football career. I mean, you know, we haven't won a playoff game since. You tell me why that might be. Whether you believe in curses or not, you can't deny the opportunity the Bengals have to come full circle this week. This might be the best chance that they've had to end the playoff victory drought, and it just happens to come against the same franchise it all started with 31 years ago. Now, don't get it twisted. When I say this is the best chance that the Bengals have had to end the drought, I mostly mean that because the Bengals have been firing on all cylinders lately. The Raiders, I think, are still a more dangerous football team than people are giving them credit for. They struggled pretty badly in the middle of the season after all that drama involving John Gruden, Henry Ruggs, and Damon Arnett. And, you know, actually we talked about that quite a bit on the preview video that we did leading up to the Bengals Week 11 matchup with the Raiders. But anyway, the Raiders lost 5 of their next 6 games after their bye week. But they started finding ways to win again after that, and now they're riding into the playoffs on a 4-game win streak. Granted, in my opinion, the only particularly impressive win that the Raiders have had lately was the one they just had against the Chargers over the weekend. Going toe-to-toe with Justin Herbert and beating him in an offensive shootout takes guts. The Bengals weren't even able to do that. But the Raiders only scored more than 24 points twice since their Week 8 bye, and that was one of them. In their other games, they're averaging 15 points per game. Compare that to the almost 30 points per game that the Bengals have been averaging in their last 8 games. Not counting the Browns game because we rested our starters, so that one's kind of a mulligan. But anyway, considering all that, you can see why the Bengals are so heavily favored to win this game. The last time these two teams met, we got a huge 123-yard, 2-touchdown day for Joe Mixon. And that was a big reason why they won that game. But the Raiders' run defense has tightened up a lot since then. You know, they were going into that game allowing, you know, one of the worst yards per carry in the NFL. But since then, they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher since. When they played Washington and Kansas City, they did allow over 100 yards rushing on those days, but neither of those teams had a single player hit the 100-yard mark. Nick Chubb got the closest with 91, but it wasn't enough for the Browns to win that game, and they only scored 14 points that day. So, you know, at the end of the day, that rushing attack only amounted to so much. So I think the Bengals are going to probably need to mix up the game plan a little bit this week, at least as opposed to what they did back in Week 11 when it was like, you know, all Joe Mixon all day. Luckily, Joe Burrow and this receiving core have been absolutely on fire lately, and then you can probably still utilize Joe Mixon a decent amount. Considering how dangerous Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd have been in tandem over the last month or so, I'm struggling to see how a Raiders secondary that may not have a 100% of Casey Hayward or Nate Hobbs this week can actually keep up with them. Casey Hayward obviously dealing with health issues and having been limited in practice all week as of the Thursday morning recording of this episode, and Nate Hobbs has been dealing with a DUI case. Although that apparently is not serious enough to keep him from playing this week. Their most reliable corner this week very well could be Brandon Faison, who, if you recall, had an absolutely abysmal day in pass coverage back in Week 11. But, as always, we're going to bring in a member of our excellent team of correspondents from the Raiders camp to help us preview this matchup. On the last Raiders preview, we heard from Elik, but I haven't been able to get a hold of him lately. I wonder how serious he was about those loan sharks. But anyway, if you want to get his perspective on the Raiders, I'll make sure to put that video up on the end screen at the end of this video. But for now, we're welcoming a new correspondent to the show. It's Caesar from Caesar's High Stakes Raiders Jackpot Cast, sponsored by a totally for real this time slots app that you actually win for real this time. Guys, please believe us. Damn, that's a mouthful. Say what's up, Caesar.
What's up, Bengals fans? Glad to be on the show. Go Raiders.
Yeah, hey, glad you could fill in for Elik on such short notice, man. Have you seen him around the blackjack tables lately?
Yeah, I'm out dealing cards here every day at the casino, and I did see Elik a few times a couple weeks ago. He hasn't really been around. He started talking about something about his kneecaps getting broken, or he feared so. I don't know where he went. It'd be nice to see him again. He was worth a lot of money to us. He kept just giving us money. He just kept giving us money, and then he took a big loan. And then, yeah, I haven't seen him since. Even in Vegas, that's kind of weird.
Dang, that's wild, man. I'm sure he'll turn up eventually, though. Nothing bad ever happens in Vegas. So, since we've got you here, you want to give our audience a little bit of a background on how you came to be a Raiders fan out there in Vegas?
Well, we always liked the Raiders here in Vegas. There's been quite a lot of talk of them for a while coming here to Vegas. You hear about guys like John Madden and Tom Flores, the glory days of the great ones. But, recently it's been less good. We drafted, Jamarcus Russell those days. He was a real joker. See, he was bad, and we hate him. And then there was John Gruden. Not only did we have to lose to John Gruden in that one fucking Super Bowl, but then we got him back, and then he became racism incarnate. It's been really tough being a Raiders fan, but this year has been really cool. We've bounced back a lot, and I'm really hopeful for us.
Yeah, I've said on my show a lot, man, that I'm really proud of the Raiders for fighting through everything that they've been through this season to make it all the way to the playoffs. Seriously, that takes guts and it takes leadership, which is something the Raiders really seem to have in abundance right now with Derek Carr and Rich Bisaccia. Are you satisfied with the way that the 2021 NFL season has worked out?
I'd have to say, overall, I'm pretty satisfied. It could have been worse. We did lose our head coach, and Henry Ruggs, and, 2 other people are in jail. So definitely could have been worse. But hey, Rich Bisaccia has really picked things up. He's part of the club now. Yeah. No, we do like him, though. He's cool, and I'm really glad he's on the team. And I'm glad he led us to playoffs.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was a little disappointed in the way that you guys finished off your run to the playoffs, though. We were so close to getting that beautiful tie that would have kept the Steelers out of the playoffs, but you guys just had to go and get the points instead of letting the clock run out. Would you like to answer for your crimes?
Yeah, we let the Steelers in the playoffs. I know that was really hard for you. But, we hate the Chargers very, very much, you have to understand. So getting them out of the playoffs was a serious priority. So I don't apologize. Also, yeah, great fucking game. I'm glad we pulled it out. We were actually really kind of wanting to tie because, we in and everything. But then, Chargers coach was like, hey, let's just take a timeout. But then our kicker decided, yeah, let's just kick the field goal and win the game because he's our ace in the hole. He's good. He's pretty good. I do like him. Great game overall. Not sorry we didn't tie.
Yeah, well, I suppose I'd feel that way too if it was my team playing a rival on the other end. I still think, though, that the world as a whole is worse off because we have to sit through a Steelers-Chiefs game in the first round of the playoffs this year. But anyway, enough about that. As far as the matchup between the Bengals and Raiders go, what do you think is going to be the biggest key for the Bengals to focus on if they want to come away with a win this week?
If you guys want to beat us, I think you just got to run the ball on us. Our defense has given up 4.2 yards per carry. That's unsustainable, and you're never going to, win any game allowing, the defense to be gashed like that. The Chiefs ran the ball all over us, and they didn't even have to break out Mahomes. So I'm actually pretty worried about Joe Mixon because he's pretty good, and he lit us up last time. So thanks for that.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Man, that was a great game. So on the Raiders side though, what would you say is their biggest strength going into this game? Like, if they're going to come away with the upset this week, where exactly does that need to come from?
Well, Kyle, I think it's got to be our defensive line. They're playing lights out. They're rushing the passer really, really well, even though we lost Darius Phylon, which really fucking sucks. We've got Max Crosby, who's our real diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? But he's going to stop Joe Burrow. They're all going to rush Joe Burrow. We're probably going to get some pressures and coverage sacks and oh man, it's going to be really great. That's how we're going to win. We got to play your garbage offensive line, which everyone knows is garbage. It's the worst out of all playoff teams. And go defensive line. I predict a pretty good game.
Yeah, I think so too. Don't forget that last game between these two teams looked like a blowout by the end of it, but in reality it was actually a very close game through much of the whole game. So, you want to go ahead and give me your prediction for this game then?
Well, we didn't fare very well in the first week that we played you guys, but we've grown a lot as a team. We've had a lot of addition by subtraction. And yes, I know the Bengals are kings of the North. They are pretty good. Bengals are pretty good. I'm actually kind of worried. I still think we're going to pull it out. I think Raiders win 34-31.
Nice, alright, picking the upset. I appreciate the boldness there. I respect it. Well, anyway, man, I appreciate you coming in and filling in for Elick on such short notice. So I look forward to talking to you next time these two teams play.
See you, Kyle. And I'll make sure to tell Elick that you miss him. And if we ever play each other again, I'll make sure to call him and he'll be on the show again. Although, he might be dead. Might be. I haven't seen him in a long time, dude. But, yeah, see ya.
Well, hopefully Elick's okay. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. You can always find more of what I do at KylePhelps92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/ThePhelps, my Bengals coverage at ATBNetwork.com/Cincinnati Bengals, the Battle of Ohio podcast, which is available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and right here if you subscribe. Anyway, it's time to go in the drought, baby. I'll leave y'all, as always, with a hootie!